I have some good news for you today. For those of you who want to be successful freight brokers, you'll have to quit your job. The question is not if you'll quit, the question is when. Some of us choose to quit the job before we ever even get started in our business. Others choose to gain some traction in the business first, and then they quit their jobs. But you will quit your job if you're going to be successful. The reason why is because one will dominate the other. If you have a job and the job is demanding most of your time and that's where you spend most of your energy and effort, then that's what's going to get your attention, and that is what you're going to be doing, your job. You're not going to be really doing a business. At least you're not going to be doing enough in it to be successful. So one is going to dominate the other, and if the business is dominating the job, then you're soon going to get rid of the job. And that's the whole idea. So the question is not if, it's just when. I want to give you some perspective on what I see as a successful business owner. You see, there are over 30 million small business owners in the United States. But there's a difference between those that are successful and those that are not successful. In my opinion, a successful business owner is one that replaces his job with the business. The business now provides the income for this person. It provides for this person's means of building wealth, and it provides for the person's means of living their lifestyle. They are no longer dependent on a job. They quit their jobs and depend solely on the business. And I believe that they have to have done this for the last 5 years, and then that's a successful business owner, in my opinion. And when you really start to think about it, who wants 2 jobs? None of us come in this with the idea of saying, I just want a second job, so I'm going to go and start a business. The whole idea is to free your time up, to get back your time. So you don't want to take on a second job and that be the thing that you're doing now. You're just working 2 jobs, because trust me, your business is going to be a job. If you're already working a job, you have a job, then now you have 2 jobs. So you don't want to stay in that situation. The idea is to get rid of one of those jobs to get your time back. And let's not play any games. Quitting your job is not going to be an easy decision. As a matter of fact, it'll be a very tough decision. We're talking about the job that has provided for you for however long, something that you've always been used to. Your job has always provided income for you. It has been that rock. It has been solid over a number of years. But what makes that decision a whole lot easier is if you have a really big why, a big reason as to why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Maybe you're the breadwinner in your family. Maybe your family is dependent on you being successful. Maybe your family is only going to go as far as your vision, your guidance will take them. That's a big reason to go in most successful that you can possibly be in a business. And I think for those of you who start out with a job, one of the ways that you can really get your confidence pumping is to go out and have early success in your freight broker business. If you go out and have that early success, it's going to give you the confidence to know in your mind now, or to have the audacity to start thinking about, hey, maybe I don't need a job. Maybe there'll come a time where I'll be able to see that I'm making enough money in my business where I can separate myself from the job. And that's what's really important, for you to start to get the thought in your mind that you don't need a job. Because once that thought starts to get in your mind, then sooner or later it becomes real to you because of the work that you're putting into your business. You'll start to see evidence. You'll start to see the proof that you can really leave your job because of what's going on in the business. And a lot of this has to do with mindset, your perspective, your ideology, your way of seeing the world. And if you're the type of person that sees the world from the perspective that I have to have a job in order for me to pay the bills, then you'll have a job to pay the bills. That's just how that goes. But if you're the type of person that's willing to put the thought on your mind that you don't need a job in order to pay your bills, as a matter of fact, you're willing to decrease your lifestyle so that you don't need as much money to live that lifestyle so you can focus on your business, then you are the person that can bring that thought to existence. And then it's important to understand yourself, to know yourself, know what it is that you really want. Because some people start out on the journey and say that they're ready for the challenges, they're ready for everything that comes with being an entrepreneur. But once they get started, they realize that being an entrepreneur is not really what they want. So you don't want to go out and quit your job and then realize that. It's important to make sure that you understand who you are and what you want before you ever get started. That way you don't lie to yourself. You don't fool yourself into something. The one thing that we don't want to do is lie to ourselves. If you want to be an entrepreneur, then be an entrepreneur. But if you want to work on a job, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because many people on the outside looking in, they like the idea They like the concept of being an entrepreneur. They like the lifestyle. They like the glamour, the wealth that seems to accompany the lifestyle. But what they don't want is the discipline, practicing those disciplines over a long period of time. What they don't want is the work that comes with it. And those of you who are looking to get out of work, to leave all of that work behind on your job, then I want to let you know that you're probably looking in the wrong place. Because this is going to require, entrepreneurship is going to require a whole lot of work from you. You see, because nothing is in place here. At least on your jobs, things are already in place. You just basically follow instructions. Here, you got to put all of that in place. You got to install the instructions. You have to install the SOP. You have to do all of the work. So don't look for this as an escape from work. Look for this to jump into work. And then it gets easier because you've laid the groundwork for your business. You've put these things in place and things get easier as you go. But don't expect that right away. Don't expect to have your time, to yourself right away. Expect to give most of your time to the business so that you can grow it, develop it into what you're interested in developing it to, so that you can have more of your time in the long run. But definitely don't expect that right away. And the most important part of quitting your job, the most important part to get to that point where you're willing to take that step, is to start thinking about it. Start putting it on your mind. Start thinking it over, what it would be like without the job, what it would be like without the income. Start to look at that picture. Make that picture clear in your mind, because when you have a clear picture, then you can make a much better decision. In conclusion, quitting your job is not an easy decision. It's not a decision that you should take lightly. It should be evaluated from all angles, the good, the bad, the advantages, and the disadvantages. You should look at the fact that what if you go out and you quit your job and your business goes belly up? How does that picture look? What happens then? Could you handle that? Could you be able to deal with that? If you cannot do that, then this is not something that you want to do right now. If you can do that, if you can stomach that, if you can look at that face to face and say, I can deal with the consequences, then that's a decision that you want to make. At the end of the day, I personally think that you have to make this decision at some point to walk away from that job, to give your business all of the effort and energy that you can give it to make it the most successful that it can be. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series titled How the Load Movement Process Works. It will give you a look into the freight broker business, let you see how it works before you come into it. That way, you make a decision in the light instead of in the dark. And then if you want to know more about how we use load boards to search for trucks, to post our loads, and as a rate sourcing tool, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.